Rain pounded the rooftop in harsh, relentless drumming. Amber streetlights blurred beneath shifting clouds. Maya Collins crouched behind the rusted HVAC unit. Her heart thundered louder than the storm. She clutched a velvet ring box to her chest. Wind whipped her hair across haunted green eyes. Every breath tasted of cold fear and regret. Footsteps echoed along the wet concrete corridor. A single drop of water slid down her cheek. She pressed her back against the coarse metal wall. Lightning split the sky with blinding intensity. Thunder followed as if the heavens roared her guilt. She slid the box from her coat pocket. Hands trembling, she eased it open. Moonlight glinted off the diamond inside. Her chest tightened as she remembered their laughter, but tonight felt nothing like their sunny memories. She stood, heart pounding, and moved toward his door. Each step felt like crossing into a trap. She paused outside apartment 7B. Fog curled at the base of the doorframe. Her finger hovered above the cold brass knob. A flood of doubt washed through her veins. Could she truly abandon everything they built? She inhaled sharply, seized the box. In one swift motion, she laid it on his pillow. Silk sheets whispered as she withdrew her hand. Then she heard a voice behind her. Maya. Her blood went ice. She spun, heart in her throat. A tall figure emerged from the shadows. Rain dripped from his dark hair. His eyes, a familiar storm of hurt, locked onto hers. "Why would you do this?" he asked, voice soft but cutting. Lightning flashed behind him, illuminating his pain. She could taste desperation on her tongue. "All I wanted was honesty," she whispered. He stepped closer, the ring box glinting on the pillow. She glanced back, realizing there was no turning away. He reached out, hand trembling. Her breath caught. Then, sudden gunfire rang out sharp, deafening. The bullets tore through the doorframe. She lunged forward as he dove sideways. Wood splintered around them in a roar. His hand brushed hers on the pillow. She froze, shock paralyzing her limbs. Smoke curled in the hallway like ghostly fingers. He crawled to her, eyes wild. "Run," he hissed urgently. Heart hammering, she obeyed. They stumbled into the stairwell's darkness. Sirens wailed faintly in the distance. Rain seeped through broken windows, soaking their clothes. She clutched the ring box like a lifeline. He slid against the cold wall, clutching his side. Blood seeped through his fingers. Maya's chest constricted. In fear, she pressed her ear to his shallow breathing. He winced. "I didn't want it to end this way," she sobbed. He shook his head, lips curling into a shaky smile. "You left it here," he rasped. Thunder rolled overhead, as if answering his words. She swallowed back tears. "Please, tell me it means something," she pleaded. He coughed, eyes drifting upward. A lone falcon's cry echoed outside. She leaned close, voice trembling. "What happens now?" He closed his eyes as the thunder died away. Footsteps pounded. Above them, a flashlight beam sliced through the gloom. Maya's blood froze. She grabbed his hand and fled into the unknown. Asterisk. Maya Collins woke before sunrise in suburban Cedar Falls, Ohio. The air smelled of wet grass and morning dew. Her small bungalow sat on Maple Avenue. A white picket fence framed her tidy lawn. She brewed dark roast coffee in her stainless steel pot. Steam curled above the countertop. She wore faded jeans and a charcoal sweatshirt. Her chest tightened as she recalled last night's storm. Her phone buzzed with a single message. "Stay safe. Love you." Signed A. Her brother, Alex, sent it every morning. His concern felt both comforting and burdensome. She poured coffee into a chipped mug. Her reflection in the window looked worn. Dark circles framed her hazel eyes. She sighed and sipped the bitter brew. Memories of her late fiancé, Ethan, surfaced uninvited. Ethan's laugh echoed in her mind. They met at Buckeye Community College 2 years ago. He sold vintage vinyl. At Saturday markets, she studied journalism and dreamed of big stories. Their apartment once overflowed with records and light. Now only his favorite jazz album remained. She touched its worn cover gently. Maya's mother, Ruth, knocked on the doorframe. "Breakfast's ready," she said softly. Ruth wore a lavender cardigan and worried frown. They shared a small kitchen table. Pancakes sizzled on a creaky griddle. Ruth drizzled syrup in neat circles. They ate in silence, spoons clinking against plates. Maya forced a smile for her mother. Ruth studied her daughter's hollow gaze. "You should rest more," she offered. Maya shook her head, butter melting across pancakes. "I need to keep busy," she replied. Her mother nodded, worry deepening her eyes. After breakfast, Maya grabbed her messenger bag. She locked the front door and descended the porch. Neighbors waved as they hurried to cars. Moments felt fragile. Like spun glass, she drove past the red brick fire station. The coffee shop on Main Street greeted her. Bright neon letters spelled Roasted Rhythm. She slipped inside, hood drawn low. The barista, Janelle, greeted her with a sad smile. "Morning, Maya." "Morning," Maya replied, voice flat. She ordered an oat milk latte. Steam rose. In swirling curls, Janelle slid the cup across the counter. Maya paid with a 20 and tucked change away. She settled at a corner table by the window. Cars zipped along Elm Street outside. She opened her laptop, blank page shining back. As a freelance writer, deadlines haunted her daily. Her editor demanded an article on local storms. Maya stared at the cursor, blinking in black. Her mind drifted to the ring box she kept hidden. Under her seat lay a leather satchel. Inside, velvet cushioned a simple diamond. She traced the rings, swirl with a fingertip. Memories of Ethan's proposal flooded her senses. It was just 6 months ago under falling snow. They danced outside the Ohio State House steps. He knelt before a crowd of strangers. She had cried tears of pure joy. Now joy felt like an impossible luxury. She closed her eyes and exhaled slowly. A text blinked on her phone screen. Meeting at the studio, 2 p.m. From her friend and photographer, Lucas Reed. Lucas shot portraits in his converted garage loft. His edgy style contrasted her vintage taste. They bonded over artistic sparks and shared ambitions. Maya packed up and drove south. Elm turned into maple as she passed. The high school students in backpacks hurried to first period classes. Autumn leaves drifted across cracked sidewalks. She pulled into Lucas's studio alley. A neon Reed imagery sign buzzed above the door. She climbed rusted stairs to the loft entrance. Lucas opened the door instantly, camera in hand. He wore paint-stained jeans and a mischievous grin. "Maya, you're later than usual." She flushed. "Sorry, traffic." He guided her to a velvet couch near big windows. He clicked his camera, testing light, ready to get creative. He asked. She forced a smile and nodded. He snapped a few candid shots of her sipping coffee. Click, click. He captured her unease. Perfectly. She stared out the window at distant smokestacks. Steel towers glinted under grey skies. Heavy industry and small-town charm collided here. She returned her gaze to Lucas. "Let's capture something real today," he said softly. Inside her chest, hope flickered like a candle, yet a subtle unease lingered. She could not shake the sense of being watched. Last night's gunfire haunted her thoughts again. She traced the photo lens's outline. What secrets waited inside that ring box? Lucas paused his camera and watched her, his brow furrowed with silent concern. Maya forced a laugh to break the tension. "Just writer's block," she muttered. He nodded, clicking again for distraction. His warm voice guided her into poses. Still, her mind drifted to unanswered questions. How did a simple ring become a trap? She closed her eyes, imagining Ethan's face. A distant rumble of thunder echoed weakly. Behind her, the loft lights flickered momentarily. Lucas lowered his camera and tilted his head. "You okay?" he asked quietly. She opened her eyes and met his gaze. Her pulse fluttered like trapped birds. "I'm fine," she lied softly. He reached out, hand poised to steady her. But she recoiled, heat rushing to her cheeks. Guilt stabbed her chest. He deserved her trust. A siren wailed faintly outside the loft window. Her breath caught as she recalled the night's danger. She straightened, brushing hair from her face. "Let's call it a session," she said. Lucas nodded, concern etched in his eyes. She gathered her things silently. The ring felt heavy. In her satchel, each step toward the exit felt like crossing a threshold. Outside, dusk crept across Cedar Falls. Street lamps blinked on in hurried flickers. Maya inhaled the crisp air deeply. She drove home pondering Lucas's worried expression. Family, friends, and strangers all tied to her secret. She parked under the glow of her porch light. The ring box sat in her bag like a ticking clock. She unlocked her door with trembling fingers. A photograph of Ethan and her caught her eye. They smiled on a windy Lake Erie pier. Waves slapped against the wooden pilings. She closed her eyes, tasting salt on her lips. Beneath the photograph, she whispered, "I'll find the truth." Then she realized danger might follow her home. Footsteps echoed faintly on the sidewalk outside. A single shadow passed under the window. She froze, heart hammering. Someone's watching. A chill ran down her spine. She grabbed the ring box and retreated to the living room. Outside, the shadow paused and vanished. Maya locked every door twice. Then she sat on her couch. Ring box open. Diamond glinted like a promise and a threat. Her phone screen glowed with Alex's message. Dinner Wednesday. She stared at the text, torn. Could she face her family with this secret? Her thumb hovered above reply. Thunder rumbled softly off in the distance. She typed, "Yes, I'll be there." And beneath the words, she added one more, "Something's wrong." A plain brown envelope slid under Maya's front door. She paused, breath catching in her throat. Rain pattered softly outside her living room window. Her fingers trembled as she picked it up. No return address, only her name scrawled in black ink. She sank onto the couch, heart pounding. Inside, a single folded letter lay. Her name appeared again in elegant script. She unfolded it with careful hesitation. "Meet me at Lakeside Docks. Midnight tonight." Her pulse raced as she read every word. No signature, no explanation. She stared at the ring box beside her. Their engagement felt miles away now. Questions swirled like fog over the water. Why send a secret note? Why tonight? She grabbed her coat and car keys. Her imagination raced through possible threats. Someone knew about the ring. Someone wanted to lure her out. She texted Lucas, "Trouble, need help." He replied, "Know where you are." She swallowed fear and locked the door. The drive to the docks felt endless. Fog draped over Lake Erie like a shroud. Streetlights glowed through the mist. She parked by the faded boathouse. Wind snapped her coat around her legs. Midnight bells echoed from a distant church. She crept toward the water's edge. Old wooden planks creaked beneath her boots. Dark shapes hovered just beyond moonlight. A solitary figure stood under a lamp, tall, broad-shouldered, waiting, her breath frozen in her chest. "What do you want?" she called out. The figure stepped forward into view. It was Detective Harper Flynn. His badge reflected pale light. His voice was low and grave. "Miss Collins, we need to talk." She frowned, confusion warring with relief. "About what?" she asked. He glanced at the ring box peeking from her satchel. His jaw tightened. "This is evidence in a homicide." Her heart lurched. "Homicide," she whispered. He nodded, regret in his eyes. "The victim was your fiancé's best friend." Shock radiated through her veins. She stumbled backward. "Ethan's friend?" "No, ... Flynn held up a paper, a photo of Ethan smiling with a man named Tyler. "He was found dead in this building's basement." He tapped his temple knowingly. "Gunshot wound, staged as accident." Maya pressed her lips together. Tyler's face swam before her eyes. They shared beers at Lucas's studio. He joked about engagement plans. Why didn't she notice danger? Flynn's voice cut through her haze. "We found this at the scene." He produced a velvet ring, box empty. Her breath caught in a choke. "The box was here when we arrived." She staggered, hand to her mouth. "Yours," Flynn said quietly. Memories crashed over her body. Last night's gunfire twisted into new horror. She sank to the dock's cold wood. Clutching the empty box felt like betrayal. "I left it on Ethan's pillow," she managed. Flynn knelt beside her. "There's more," he said gently. He handed her a crumpled photograph. Ethan and Tyler stood smiling at Cedar Falls Fair, their arms slung round each other's shoulders. But someone had scribbled a red X across Tyler's face. Maya stared in disbelief. "Why would Ethan do this?" she breathed. Flynn exhaled slowly. "We believe Tyler found a secret, one worth killing for." She closed her eyes against fresh panic. Her world had fractured in one letter. One envelope, one midnight meeting. She pressed trembling fingers to her lips. What secret sank to lives? Flynn offered his arm. "Come back with me, we'll sort facts." She nodded, tears mixing with rain. As they turned toward the car, she realized the ring she left behind held deadly truth. And now, she was trapped between love and danger. Maya paced the witness room's tile floor. Detective Flynn leaned against the metal table. His eyes brimmed with cautious sympathy. A single overhead bulb cast long shadows. Her satchel and the intact ring box rested on the table. She opened it. The diamond glinted under harsh light. Flynn watched her fingers tremble. "Someone wants that ring back," he said. Maya's head snapped up. "Why?" He tapped the box. Tyler discovered a ledger. Financial crimes tied to a local magnate. Her breath hitched. Ethan's boss, Victor Harlan, a man with power and secrets. Flynn continued, voice low. Harlan's empire rests on dirty money. Tyler threatened to expose him. Maya swallowed hard. Did Ethan know? Flynn shook his head. No proof yet. But Tyler's notes hinted at a bigger scandal. The door clanged open. A uniformed officer stepped in. Detective, there's been another incident. Flynn's jaw clenched. He led Maya out quickly. Outside, rain had turned to a sharp wind. They climbed into his unmarked car. Maya's fingers traced the ring's facets. I should stay safe at home, she whispered. Flynn started the engine. You're a material witness, he said. She exhaled, tension coiling in her chest. They arrived at the old Harlan warehouse. Chain-link fences barred the perimeter. Pine trees rattled against rusted gates. Flashing police lights painted grim colors. Flynn grabbed his badge and flashlight. Stay close, he instructed. Inside, concrete floors gleamed with puddles. Boxes and crates lined every wall. Maya's footsteps echoed in empty aisles. Suddenly, a shape darted behind a stack of pallets. Flynn raised his hand. Stop. No response. He advanced. Flashlight beams slicing darkness. A whisper drifted. Help me, ... Maya's heart lurched. They rounded a corner. Tyler's sister Claire lay slumped against a crate, her blouse stained with red. Maya knelt beside her. Claire, the young woman's eyes fluttered. Titila saved lives, she gasped. Flynn knelt opposite Maya. Press his ledger into her hand, he ordered. Maya did so. Claire squeezed the leather-bound book. Her eyes flicked toward Maya's ring. He gave you that, she whispered. Maya's throat tightened. Claire's breathing hitched. Victor ... He sent us ... Her words tumbled out between coughs. Security guard. He's Harlan's man. Maya closed her eyes. So the danger came from inside. Claire's hands slackened. Flynn checked her pulse. She needs a hospital, he said. They carried her out, toward fresh rain. Maya heard distant engines revving. Several black SUVs tore around the building. Headlights cut through gloom like knives. Flynn cursed under his breath. He shoved Claire into the back seat. Maya slid in beside her. They sped onto a gravel road. Maya gripped the ring box. An easy silence filled the car. Flynn spoke at last. We've got one, ally Lucas Reed. Maya turned. Lucas. Flynn nodded. He can hide you. Her mind raced. Trust Lucas with her life and this ring. She hesitated, then nodded. At Lucas's loft, they found him packing headphones and camera gear. He embraced Maya fiercely. Showed up at 3 a.m., he whispered. Maya released a shaky laugh. Things got worse. He glanced at Flynn and Claire. We'll move her upstairs, he said. Upstairs, Maya watched Claire rest on a futon. Lucas knelt beside her, checking her bandaged arm. Flynn stood by the window, scanning the street. The trio formed a fragile team. Maya took Lucas's hand. Thank you, she said softly. He nodded, eyes resolute. Whatever it takes. Outside, tires crunched on pavement. Heads peeked through. Blinds a car lurched past the building. Maya felt adrenaline spark. They couldn't stay hidden forever. Lucas closed a cabinet and pulled out equipment. Time to learn a few tricks, he said. Maya glanced at Flynn. He nodded approval. I'll secure the warehouse ledger, he said. She exhaled. This was no longer just her fight. It was theirs. She opened the ring box and placed the diamond against her palm. A single beam of moonlight lit her hand. Its glow felt like a promise. They had the ledger. They had the ring. But Harlan's reach extended far. Threats multiplied with each breath. And somewhere, the security guard waited, cold and watchful in the shadows. Maya closed her fist around the diamond. We're not running. She lifted her chin. A fierce spark ignited in her chest. The fight had only begun. Asterisk. Before dawn, Lucas led Maya to his makeshift dojo. Wooden floors creaked beneath their feet. Sunrise light filtered through dusty windows. He handed her black training gloves. Maya laced them with trembling fingers. This will help, he said. Softly, inside, punching bags hung from steel beams. Lucas demonstrated a basic jab. His form was tight and controlled. Maya mirrored him, breath steadying. Bags swung with each thudding strike. Pain shot through her knuckles. She bit back a gasp. Relax your shoulders, Lucas coached. She adjusted, arms less rigid. Glove met bag with sharper impact. Sweat beaded on her brow. Each hit grounded her swirling fear. Her heart pounded in triumph. Lucas nodded approvingly. Next, he led her to target pads. He held them at waist level. Focus on speed, he instructed. She tapped each pad in rhythm. Her muscles ached with each combo, but her confidence grew. He dropped his voice low. Trust your instincts. Her chest tightened at his words. She glanced at the ring in her pocket. Maya shook her head. Show me self-defense, she demanded. Lucas nodded and moved aside. He showed her basic wrist escapes, fast and precise. He twisted her arm gently. He demonstrated leverage and body weight. Maya practiced until her arm shook. Pain turned into newfound strength. She stood taller, breathing deeply. Again, Lucas urged. They repeated until Lucas smiled. Good, you're ready. Next came the backyard shooting range. Steel targets lined up under a metal awning. Lucas handed Maya a small handgun. Her fingers trembled on the grip. He guided her stance and aim. Her first shot rang out sharp. The bullet pinged against steel. Her eyes widened with shock. Lucas steadied her elbow. Breathe, squeeze. She did, heart pounding. Shot to hit the center. Black hole in the metal. Maya's chest swelled with pride. Perfect, Lucas said quietly. She lowered the gun, shaking. This is about more than weapons, he said. His gaze was intense. This is your power. Tears pricked Maya's eyes. She nodded, understanding his meaning. They returned inside as clouds rolled in. Lucas poured water into 2 bottles. They sat on wooden benches. Maya wiped sweat from her forehead. She looked at him, voice firm. I feel stronger. He offered a small smile. Good, but threats remain. She touched the ring box in her bag. Her fingers closed around its edge. I won't let them win. He nodded, respect in his eyes. She stood and shook out her arms. Rain rattled against the window panes. Maya inhaled the smell of wet earth. Her resolve hardened like forged steel. Lucas waved toward a wall of photos, images of Harlan, Claire, and ledger pages. This is why, he said gently. She stepped forward, eyes scanning secrets. Her pulse steadied with purpose. She turned to Lucas. I'm ready for what's next. He clasped her shoulder. We face this together. Thunder rumbled in the distance. Maya nodded into the storm. She was no longer the frightened fiancée. She was a fighter, and she would reclaim her life. **** Weeks passed in tense preparation. Maya sifted through ledger entries alone. Each name revealed deeper corruption. She discovered Alice Monroe, a trusted trustee. Alice handled the ring's appraisal paperwork. Why was her name hidden in margins? Lucas reviewed security footage from Harlan's office. They spotted Claire meeting the guard. Claire's wounded confession echoed in Maya's mind. Was Claire playing them? Flynn called with urgent news. They found Alice dead in her car. Maya's blood ran cold. Accident, she whispered. Flynn's voice trembled. Staged, shot twice. Maya closed her eyes. Alice, her ally and friend, was gone. She sank into a chair. Lucas knelt beside her. She knew something, Maya murmured. He squeezed her hand. They returned to the loft in silence. Maya stared at the ring on the table. A single thought pierced her resolve. Someone inside our circle betrayed us. She stormed toward Lucas. Claire set us up, she accused. Lucas frowned. She was barely conscious. Maya shook her head. Look at flight logs. Claire's phone pinged near Harlan's safe. Lucas scrolled through data. Maya watched as red dots flickered on the map. Claire's signal moved toward downtown. Her heart pounded. Flynn arrived in person. They traced the bullet to the guard's weapon. He said. Maya realized the guard lived next door to Claire. Everything clicked. Claire faked her injury. She manipulated them all. Her tears had been a performance. They rushed to the hospital. Claire's bed stood empty. Heard the 4th drip swung gently. A sticky note on the counter read, "Gone for answers. Trust no one." Maya's chest seized. Lucas pressed, his palm to his mouth. Flynn kicked through security tapes. They found Claire slipping out amid shift changes. Betrayal stung sharper than any punch. Maya sank to a chair. The ring box lay open on her lap. She watched the diamond glint with cold light. A sharp knock sounded at the loft door. Maya jumped to her feet. Lucas aimed his camera like a weapon. Flynn held up his badge. "Open up," he ordered. Maya unlocked the door. Alice's assistant, Marco Delgado, stepped inside. His eyes were haunted, voice low. "Alice sent me." Maya frowned. "Sent you?" She's dead. Marco's shoulders sagged. Alice left this for Maya. He handed over a USB drive. Maya took it with shaking fingers. What does it contain? Lucas asked. Marco pointed to his temple. A confession. Alice recorded it before. He trailed off. Maya plugged the drive into her laptop. They listened in tense silence. Alice's voice trembled. I discovered Victor's plan to use Maya's ring as collateral. Her tone grew cold. He needed leverage over her fiancé. A second voice interrupted Claire's. They heard Claire's voice, calm and measured. I'll handle the ring, Alice gasped. Alice, no gunfire. Alice's scream. Then silence. Maya's hand flew to her mouth. They planned it all, she whispered. Flynn slammed his fist on the table. Claire and Harlan conspired to trap you. Maya swallowed bile. The ring, her love's symbol, became bait. Her anger blazed like wildfire. Lucas placed a hand on her shoulder. Now we know. Her eyes burned with fierce clarity. She rose, voice steady. We end this tonight. Flynn nodded, drawing his gun. Lucas loaded his camera with night vision. Maya slipped on black gloves. They formed a silent line. Betrayal cut deeper than any weapon. But now, they wielded truth as their own. And justice would be their final strike. Asterisk, asterisk. They arrived at Harlan's riverside warehouse at midnight. Moonlight glinted off rain-slicked steel. Maya gripped her gloves tight. Flynn scanned the perimeter. Lucas adjusted night vision on his camera. They slipped through a side entrance. Corridors hummed with distant generators. Shadows danced across peeling concrete walls. They heard Harlan's voice ahead. A private gathering on the rooftop deck. Security cameras dotted every corner. Flynn disabled the nearest one. Door hissed as Maya forced it open. They climbed a narrow metal staircase. Above, city lights twinkled beyond the river. Harlan lounged beside Claire on lounge chairs. His smirk gleamed under string lights. Claire held Maya's ring between manicured fingers. Maya's pulse thundered in her ears. Flynn signaled them forward. Lucas advanced silently. Camera rolling. Maya stepped into the open space. Harlan's gaze snapped to her. Maya Collins. He purred. Claire stood, ring raised. Looking for this, Claire taunted. Maya's vision narrowed on the diamond. She clenched her fist. Give it back, she demanded. Harlan laughed, rich and cruel. Collateral has value, Ms. Collins. Flynn emerged from shadows, badge shining. Maya felt Lucas's steady presence behind. Harlan's security guard blocked the staircase. His rifle aimed without hesitation. Flynn held up his gun. Drop your weapon. Guard hesitated, conflict in his eyes. Maya seized her chance. She darted toward Claire. Claire shrieked and stumbled. Backward, the guard fired one warning shot overhead. Steel rung and sparks flew from a beam. Maya dove for cover behind a planter. Harlan cursed, lunging after her. Lucas sprinted down the stairs to flank the guard. Flynn rushed Claire, tackling her to the floor. Claire's ring flew from her hand. It skittered across wet decking. Maya rolled out and snatched it up. Harlan barreled toward her. She spun and jabbed, surprise fueling her strikes. He staggered, hand over his chest. Lucas tackled the guard, wrenching away his rifle. Flynn cuffed Claire's wrists behind her back. Maya pressed the ring box closed. She advanced on Harlan, voice cold. Your games end now. Harlan sneered defiantly. He reached for a flask in his pocket. Maya kicked it away sharply. It shattered, liquor spilling across wood. Suddenly, footsteps pounded on the stairwell. More guards appeared, rifles raised. Flynn barked orders under his breath. Lucas raised his camera, light blinding. The guards shielded their eyes. Maya seized the moment. She sprinted to the staircase. Harlan recovered and followed her. She climbed 2 steps at a time. Wood groaned. Under frantic weight, rain began to fall again from open sky. Maya reached the upper landing. Harlan nearly grabbed her coat. She turned, driving her elbow inward. He yelped and lurched back. Below, Lucas and Flynn held off guards. Maya burst through a hatch door. Onto the roof, wind nearly knocked her off balance. She ran toward a metal railing. City skyline shimmered beyond steel girders. Harlan emerged behind her, panting. She reached the edge and leaped. He lunged after, arms outstretched. She landed in a narrow fire escape cage. Bars clanged as she descended. Harlan spat curses and hesitated. Maya dropped another flight. Rushing air tore at her hair. She reached a lower platform and slid through. Harlan's shout echoed above. Her. She sprinted across a rain-soaked alley. Sirens wailed closer now. She dove behind an overturned dumpster. Harlan's silhouette loomed at the hatch. He scanned frantically, hands on hips. She pressed her back against cold metal. Rain soaked her coat and hair. Heartbeat thundered as she clutched the ring. Below, Lucas and Flynn breached the rooftop. "Hatch!" They shouted her name. She rose, stepping from shadow to light. Flynn grasped her arm. Lucas grabbed the ring box. Together, they fled down the alley. Behind them, Harlan emerged, furious and defeated. They reached Flynn's car. Maya dove into the back seat. Lucas slid in beside her. Flynn roared the engine to life. Tires spun and sprayed mud. They peeled away into the night. Maya pressed the ring box to her chest. Her breath came in ragged relief. She glanced back. Harlan stood alone under flashing police lights. His empire crumbled around him. Maya exhaled, tears mixing with rain. They had escaped for now, but the price of truth had never felt so high. Asterisk. Dawn light crept over Cedar Falls rooftops. Detective Flynn parked outside Maya's bungalow. Lucas stayed close, camera slung over his shoulder. Maya clutched the ring box to her chest. They stepped into the quiet morning street. Her neighbors waved through dewy windows. Inside her home, her mother stirred pancakes again. Ruth's eyes widened at Maya's arrival. Maya knelt, pulling her mother into a hug. Ruth smelled of vanilla and worry. Tears slid down Maya's cheeks. "I'm safe," she whispered. Her mother held her tightly. Flynn cleared his throat gently. He produced the tarnished ledger. "It's evidence," he said. Maya nodded and placed it on the table. The pages revealed Harlan's empire collapse. Charges would follow: fraud, bribery, and murder. She exhaled, relief blooming in her chest. Claire faced justice in a federal courtroom. Alice's bravery sparked sweeping investigations. Harlan's name disappeared from newspapers. Her world felt lighter, despite scars. Maya sat by her porch. Window coffee steamed in her favorite chipped mug. Lucas joined her with sunrise light. He handed her a fresh newspaper. The headline read, "Local hero exposes billionaire ring scheme." She smiled, tea warm between her palms. They watched sparrows dart between maples. Her phone buzzed Alex's text. "You okay?" She typed back, "Better than ever." Her ring lay open on her lap. Diamonds sparkled like a promise reborn. She lifted it gently, voice soft. "Ethan, thank you." Outside, children's laughter drifted on warm air. She stood and stepped onto the porch. Morning breeze tangled her hair. She slid the ring back into its box. Her thumb brushed its velvet interior. "This belongs to a brighter tomorrow." Lucas slipped his hand into hers. Together, they watched sunlight dance on leaves. Home felt safe once again. Maya exhaled hope into the new day. Asterisk.